Today, I want to address top 5 weight loss challenges that hold people back from achieving their weight loss goals. I've gathered real challenges from real people into 5 groups, and I'm going to address each of them. The first one is lack of energy and time. So busy caring for 5 children, I'm burnout. I feel the lack of physical and mental margin to do what I already know. It just feels like too much. It's juggling time with young kids, and I've never had confidence in cooking, so I've allowed the time I used to spend at the gym to dwindle to zero, and the quick and easy food options are often what we do. Working from home helped by cutting down the commute and allowing time to food prep. But now needing to be at the office even 50% of the time adds to the drain, where I feel like there's no time, but it's just lack of energy to make the effort. My job is busy. I have a family. If at the weekend I do not get out to get healthy supplies in, then I break from work to eat, and grabbing something quickly will mean a sandwich and carbs. It's not unhealthy, but it doesn't help my goals of weight and protein uptake. So it's the planning and time issue for me. And you can just tell from the spelling and grammar in this last one that the person is really stressed out. So let me address first the lack of energy. If you don't have energy, it's very simple. You need to create the energy, right? There's no way around it. How do we do that? The paradox is that in order to create energy, you need to move. You need movement, you need connection to Earth to get free electrons from the Earth, and you need to charge those electrons by the sun to create this photoelectric effect that was discovered by this very smart dude called Einstein. And it's fascinating how nature works, because if there's no sun in your area, you need to embrace cold to get the same effect. Nature is smart like that. The lack of sun in higher latitude is compensated by cold, which produces the same effects within our body. It creates energy inside of us. You see, cold makes us produce melanin, this substance that makes us tan on the outside. It produces melanin on the inside, and we need that. You need lots of melanin, because you have melanin in the brain, you have melanin in the gut, you have melanin in glands all over the body, not only in the skin. And if you have no melanin renovation going on by sun or cold, it's only a matter of time before you will have some kind of health problems. So yes, to create energy, you need to reconnect with nature and include a lot of movement, like general slow movement throughout the day, especially. I'm not even talking about exercising in the gym. Go for brisk walks. Have you heard of the benefits of zone 2 training? That's it. You just go for a brisk walk or a really light jog where you can still maintain a conversation and not gasp for air. That's zone 2 training. That's how I actually myself lost a lot of weight initially, where I walked from one town to another, from work to home in the evening, and didn't have dinner afterwards, skipped dinner afterwards, and I would continue burning fat during the night, and I would drop a lot of weight that way. And I didn't even do it every day. So addressing lack of energy, you may not have the energy right now, but in order to get it, you kind of have to power through and create energy by movement, by reconnecting with the earth to get free electrons, by charging them with the sun or cold. And what about the lack of time? Everybody gets 24 hours in a day. Some people use them wisely, and some people can improve, right? So it sounds to me like the person who doesn't have the time to take care of themselves, to feed themselves well, need to look into time management skills. Yes, you will need to plan things. Yes, you will need to do some planning, some prep, some meal prep, some shopping, some batch cooking. Why do we have no problem finding time to watch Netflix or scroll the social media feeds, but we have a problem finding time to cook for ourselves and find time to take care of ourselves? Your priorities are wrong. You need to change your priorities. If you lose your health, there will be nothing else to worry about, right? In the event of decompression in an airplane, we are instructed to put the mask on us first before we put the oxygen mask on anybody else, including children. That's so wise. So why don't we do it for ourselves in real life? The second common challenge is, of course, hunger and cravings. We're not logical beings, we're emotionally driven decisions makers using instinct and convenience, whereas the logic and rational side is our weaker, less prevalent side. So when we are hungry, we default to easy, fast, and accessible, which is not always something that requires cooking or more effort. Cravings that take over. It's like my logical thinking shuts off and all I can think of is satisfying the craving. I hate it. A dysregulated system that finds comfort in the texture of food, mouth, jaw movement, and no, gum doesn't help. Also, unhealed trauma leading to eating my emotions, and now at 49, perimenopause. So how I ate before to lose 15 pounds with ease just doesn't work anymore. So then the fuck it all kicks in, vicious cycle. I just like the taste of the less healthy options. I'd rather eat a burger, fries than grilled chicken, broccoli, or a cold frosty Coke over plain water. I wish that wasn't the case. I'd love to desire the good stuff rather than feel obligated to eat it. Maybe that's discipline issues, I don't know. You don't have to be hungry to lose weight, you know? Yes, there's discomfort, initial discomfort from changing your habits, from getting into this unfamiliar territory, so to speak. But you don't need to endure hunger if you eat at the correct times and you eat supportive foods. You don't need to eat broccoli and chicken. You don't need to eat diet food. When our body burns fat, either the fat that comes from your plate or from your body, which is actually the same mechanism in the body that you have to kind of turn on, train your cells to run on fat first. But once you do that, that fat will produce more energy, more bang for your buck, so to speak, than protein and carbohydrates. So don't be afraid of fat. Eat fats that come together with animal protein naturally. You see, nature is always the answer. You don't have to be on boiled broccoli and chicken breast. This is a fallacy that doesn't serve anybody. Unless you want to be a bodybuilder and knuckle your way through a very, very lean, unnaturally lean body, then you need to apply these terms as sports nutrition, right? But if you're a normal person having a normal metabolism, you can lose weight by following the principles of nature. You eat animal protein and fat that comes with it, especially in winter when there are no plants available, probably at a higher latitude, if you live at higher latitude. If you're insulin resistant, it means you're leptin resistant. It means that you need to work on your circadian rhythm, your sun exposure, block blue light, be outside more, go to bed early, wake up early naturally with the sun. All of these things work together. And I'm not going to say that addiction to food, pleasure of food is not an issue. It is a real problem. But also, people think that it will never go away, where in reality, it only takes a few days of abstaining from processed foods so that your taste buds get reset to derive pleasure from natural foods. And your blood sugar takes some time to normalize. Once that's taken under control, cravings subside dramatically. Number 3, too much conflicting advice and lack of instant gratification. There is so much garbage info out there, and every second headline is all you need to know is just follow these 3 steps. I personally think we live in a world of instant gratification and bang for buck culture. We don't pick a lane and stick to it. We dive in, it doesn't work as quickly as it should, so we're on to the next thing. Overload of the information, differing views on priority of which changes should come first. So I try all or a lot at once, burn out before many benefits are noticeable, and then fall back on what's easier. I'm currently struggling because I've plateaued. It's so hard when you know you've done all the things right and you've seen the progress, but then you plateau, and even when you stick with it, you no longer see the progress. Then it's like, what's the point, or what do I do next? If it was just protein and veg, I'd still be losing weight, but that's not the case. This is so true. The information is so overwhelming. And it doesn't help that health voices in the space, many times they contradict each other. So what are you going to do? How do you single out one voice that has all the answers? It's very simple. There is such a resource. I'm going to tell you. The voice that has all the answers is nature. Think about it. Nature, the universe, is all the creation there is, and we are part of it. How do you know what works for the human body? You look at how evolution has shaped Homo sapiens. How did prehistoric, pre-civilization people stay lean and fit and live through their 80s? given that they avoided an unfortunate encounter with a predator. They didn't snack on protein bars, that's for sure. They didn't count calories. They just had access to what was available at a particular latitude where they lived in a particular season. They hunted all year round, but in the summer they would also load up on honey and berries. When winter came, very few plants were available, so they would hunt a lot. And on the days they failed to hunt something down, they would go into ketosis, they would fast. So we know for sure that feasting and fasting cycles work for the human body. Eating local, seasonal, organic food works for the human body. The cycle of eating to satiety and then not eating for many hours is also a natural thing for a human body. All that paired with waking up at sunrise and going to bed shortly after sunset to the cave, right? And using fire as their only electronic device. So that's your ideal blueprint. However closer you can get to that in your life, the more health you will gain and the more weight you will be able to release. Take it or leave it, but you can't argue that human evolution, nature, is the way to go. Instant gratification, I know it's hard, right? I'm a human too. I know it's hard, it's a real challenge, but it only takes 6 to 8 weeks of effort to start seeing results. Once you start seeing results, it will become much more easy. It will become much more flowy to continue that and achieve your goals. So think about your life. Think about how long you've been wanting to lose the weight and how long in that period 6 to 8 weeks is. It's a drop in the ocean. Time will pass anyway. What will you do with this time passing? 6 to 8 weeks is nothing. Okay, number 4, people pleasing and living in a toxic home environment. With a husband and 2 teenagers, I feel like my meal plan revolves around them and their high caloric needs. Just eat less is very difficult for me, and they do not like it when I make diet food. Living in a toxic home environment with people who do not support changes to lifestyle and belittle changes made trying to make. My husband will not agree to what I desire to eat, cook, grocery shop for. So there's always a push to please or a want to not hear complaints constantly. I give up essentially. People pleasing, unsupportive families, this is a hard one. I feel a lot of compassion for people who go through this, and there's a lot of people struggling with this. To be honest, it took a divorce for me. Once I got out of that pattern, it led me to realize that I wasn't living my truth, so I had to leave. I'm hoping it will not be as dramatic for you, but you will need to make some changes. I invite you to think about what will happen in 5 years if you continue the same way and don't change. If there's love in your family, wouldn't the other person want the best for you? And I'm not blaming them. Many people, the majority of people actually aren't just even aware of the patterns, unconscious patterns that drive their behavior and their thoughts and automatic reactions. Maybe they have an inherent fear of losing you if you change, and they don't change. You have to choose, what are you going to do? Are you going to look for a solution, or are you going to keep being stuck? We always have a choice. We may pretend that we don't, but we can always orient our lives differently. Number 5, emotional eating. For me, I'm absolutely addicted to feeding feelings. Happy eat, stressed eat, worried eat, excited eat, scared eat, bored eat. It's a very real issue for me and definitely a lifelong struggle. I know when I eat well, I will feel better, but I derail and have the hardest time getting back to it. I have to shop and plan, especially for breakfast, and that is a start. Mentally, I just say, screw it, you'll always be fat. Then I say, dang it, you're worth the work. Continuous battle in my head. If that's you, what I would say to you is that you lack empowerment. You were born as an empowering being, and at some point in your life, you were taught to give it away. But you can regain it. You can work with a weight loss coach, you can read books on self-development, you can go to therapy, you can listen to podcasts that help you grow. You can do the necessary work to overcome this. Start your day right every day. You need to create Just enough hype in your mind to keep you going every day. Refocus every day on your goals. You can have an occasional break down the road, but not now. Now is the time to lay the foundation. After a few initial weeks working with my clients, they always come to this realization, wow, I didn't realize that my body can do this. It's an adventure. Somebody who's just discovered cold exposure will say, wow, I didn't realize that after just 2 minutes of cold, I feel great. I feel like I'm so happy. Or, I have never tried this before. I can now run my body on ketones, and I've never actually experienced this mental clarity and surge of energy. I'm so happy I discovered it. I didn't know my body could do that. By the way, it's much easier to follow a routine than go in and out of a routine, right? Because we attach so much emotional baggage to doing things right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. There is your path. If you stay consistent, and whenever you jump off the cliff or fall off the wagon, so to speak, and you don't feel like bouncing back, that's the problem, not the falling off the wagon. If you're compassionate to yourself, you treat yourself like an adult treats a child. Okay, you're learning a new skill, you're trying to get out of an old pattern. Of course you're gonna break at some point, but that's okay, you can do it, keep going. If you address yourself like that, as a leading adult who doesn't allow a child to feel down because of they failed, who doesn't beat themselves up, who doesn't punish themselves, you would get so much further than dropping everything and losing interest in trying because you failed once. So to wrap it up, my friends, I hope this was helpful. Obviously, weight loss is a huge endeavor and it encompasses so much more than just your diet. If you want to learn more about how your body works, you can watch a free webinar on my site where I explain in more detail about the ancestral program in our bodies that we can tap into to lose weight and heal.